I've had this car for almost 2 years now, and full disclosure, I love it. But here are 10 things that I don't like about my Tesla Model 3. Now these are in no particular order, but the first thing I want to mention is the front bumper here. Design is great, it looks just fine, but I don't know if it's the way it's shaped or what, but this thing is a massive bug collector. I've taken it on a few cross-country road trips, but any kind of highway stretch where it's kind of misty, foggy, a little humidity, where the bugs are out, this thing will collect them all more than any other car I've owned before. The windshield is normal, the front hood is normal, but this front bumper is just a massive, huge bug collector. And they're hard to get off if you leave them there for a while. So I recommend if you take a road trip, clean this thing right when you get to your destination. For number 2 on this list, I want to come to the back and mention the trunk here. So there's a lot of space in this trunk, but the thing that bothers me about this is, look here, when you open it, it's not a hatchback style like the Model Y or the other SUVs that Tesla has. So although you can fit a lot in here, there's a lot of trunk space. The sub-compartment is excellent, but anything you want to throw back here has to fit within these parameters. And this is like maybe 2 feet tall. So it's not that much room to throw some stuff in. Although you have a ton of room to put it in, you have to fit it through this space here. We have a cooler that we like to bring with us on road trips, and this kind of barely fits. There's some scratches in the plastic here from us trying to squeeze it in. It's like just the right size, maybe a little too big, but just one of those things where you gotta throw it in the back seat, or like if we have something back there, to slide it in here, and if it doesn't fit in here, it's not gonna fit in the trunk. So the trunk is great, there's a lot of space, but this little compartment here would be so much more easier if this back windshield opened with the trunk. You can fit a lot more back here. So for number 3, I'll take you in the cabin here. Something that I can't show you guys, so you have to trust me, but I want to talk about how the cabin air filters just don't last that long. I think I saw somewhere they're supposed to last like a year or 2, but being here in Vegas, where in the summer we just crank the AC all day, every day, it might get you by like 1 summer here in Vegas. So I've had my car for almost 2 years, like I said. I've already changed my air filters once. I prolonged it very long, so they're still kind of new. But if you live in a hot climate and you're cranking the AC, you might start getting that like wet sock vinegar smell, they call it. And you can tell when you crank the AC, it just smells a little weird, and it gets worse and worse over time. So if you're starting to smell that in a hot climate, nothing's wrong with your car. It's just your air filters. They are easy to change. I've done it myself, super easy. I got a video on that, but they don't last that long. So just be aware of that if you get a Model 3. Number 4, back to the trunk here to talk about not the trunk itself, but the liner of the trunk and the back seat, that's like carpet material. It is such a detractant to dog hair. Dog hair sticks to this thing and it's so hard to get out. Your typical car wash vacuum is not going to be enough for it. And we have 2 dogs of our own, and you can see, I haven't cleaned my car lately, but you can just see how hard it is to get out. You can imagine with a normal vacuum, probably won't do the job. You need a deep cleaning, a deep scrubbing of some sort, because this hair sticks into this carpet and it gets under it, and you got to pick it out with your fingers. That's the best way I found. I don't know, but if you have dogs, beware, because this thing will attract a dog hair like crazy. Number 5, we're back in the cabin here to talk about the windshield wipers. Now, they don't work, they work just fine, but what doesn't work too well are the auto windshield wipers. This is a first world problem, I know, I'm getting picky. I love this car, I told you, but if you're on autopilot, you have to use the auto windshield wipers, and they just don't work too well, especially if you're on a road trip. Like I said, if bugs start coming on the windshield, it might mistake those bugs for raindrops, and your windshield wipers will go on and they'll stay on until you wipe the bugs off at the next stop. And that can be pretty annoying when it's sunny out and there's nothing going on, there's no rain anywhere near, and your windshield wipers start going off and you can't turn them off or do anything about it. For number 6, we're still in the cabin. I want to talk about the mileage inaccuracy shown in comparison to your battery percentage. So what I mean is that here I'm on 71%, and it shows that I have 240 miles, but that is not accurate. I'll tell you that right now. It might be close if you're in the city doing stuff like that, but on road trips, you need to go by battery percentage. There's no other way around it. It's just not accurate, the mileage. It's like using your iPhone and your iPhone telling you how much time you have left before it dies. It all depends what you're doing, and here it depends how fast you're driving, the conditions you're driving in. So I always recommend to go by percentage. Number 7, I gotta go outside. Guys, it's freaking raining. So number 7, as I get wet here, this right here is what we call curb rash. And the reason why this happens, especially on Teslas, and my biggest complaint for number 7 is that the rims stick out just a little teeny tiny bit further than the tires here. So if you ever hit any kind of curb, even just the slightest, what's gonna hit first is this part of your rim and not your tire. So each time you touch a curb, it's gonna show here, as you see here with mine. It's not too bad. I've got a couple on some other wheels too. I've seen much worse than mine, especially on rental cars where you don't take care of them. This right here is a problem that will happen to probably every Tesla owner at some point, so just be aware of it. You can get some paint correction, I'm sure, and go over it pretty easily. I just kind of brushed it off. If you were to step back, you probably couldn't see it too much, so I'm not too worried about it, but it is something that is bound to happen and almost unavoidable. I thought I had more curb rashes than just that one, but those look pretty good. Back in the cabin, number 8 is the wireless charging. It holds your phone just great. It holds 2 phones just great. Super convenient to have. If you're gonna rely on it to actually charge your phone, probably not the best thing. The charge rate is very slow, and it heats up your phone so fast to the point where my phone, if it's on low battery and I put it in here, it has to stop charging before it even gets to full because it just gets too hot to charge further. So while it's super convenient to charge your phone on road trips, it's good to have it as like a last case resort to not have your phone die, but I wouldn't rely on this for a full charge. Number 9, I want to talk about the storage options or lack thereof in this armrest area between the seats, because without this third-party addition, this little organizer, this area goes down so deep, it's almost impossible to actually put anything in there of use. If you want to grab down and reach for it and dig it out, there's no organization at all. I know every Tesla owner I know buys some sort of third-party thing to put here where you can organize your stuff more because it's just necessary. For some reason, Teslas don't include that with the Model 3 or Model Y. So it kind of sucks that you need to buy a third-party thing for your car, but I mean, it's like a little $10 plastic piece. Just throw it in there, Tesla. It'd be so much easier. But anyway, yeah, this just is not any organizational storage thing at all. It's just a huge little area that you can't really put stuff in unless you buy an organizer. Number 10 for top 10 things I don't like about this car as I wrap it up here in the rain, having to fight Tesla FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and the false news. And I know this isn't Model 3 specific, but being a Tesla owner or an EV owner, I was super excited when I got this car to actually see what it's really like and tell people all like the fake news and all like those fake headlines that are out there. It gets old after a while. It gets tiring having to tell people over and over again that the stuff they see on the news is just not true sometimes. These things do work in the cold. They don't take an hour to charge a supercharger, and just so on and so forth. And as much as I want to be an advocate for the brand, it gets tiring after a while dealing with people who will call, family, friends will call you, text you, especially if you're on social media. Me doing this YouTube stuff, I see it all the time, but it's just part of being a Tesla owner. You're gonna have to deal with people coming at you with all this crazy stuff that's just not true about this car, and you gotta either defend yourself or just let it go. So you gotta, if you're gonna buy one of these cars, just know that's gonna come with it. So that wraps up the top 10 things I don't like about this car. I don't wanna say hate because I love this car. It served me very well over the last 2 years, and I got plenty of road trips and content and stuff to come with it. But if you get to appreciate me making this video out here in the cold and the rain, please subscribe. I'm working hard out here for you guys, and thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.